Welcome to a brand new video for Style of Play. Last night's World Cup final has to go down as one of the best football matches, not just in the World Cup, not just in international football, but all time. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. That was one of the best football matches I've ever watched in my life. It's up there, 100%. It's up there. And what a game, man. What a game. All it needed was a red card. It had everything else in there. What a final we just got to witness. It was brilliant performance from both teams. I think, you have to credit France, even though they lost in the way that they did, to come back, to fight back the way that they did in that game. For Messi to win the ultimate thing that he's been dying to get his hands on, to complete the whole package of being arguably the best player, or is now the best player in this generation of football. You can't fault him for that. You can't take that away from him now. He's done it all. He's completed the whole set. Brilliant performance from Argentina overall throughout the tournament, especially how they lost their first game to Saudi Arabia, to go on then to win. Mbappe scoring a hat-trick. There's so much to unpick, but before we do that, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you go and give this video a like, and let me know your thoughts in the comments as well about the World Cup final. And also, I do want to talk about, and I'm going to start with Qatar, the Qataris hosting the World Cup. There's a lot of controversy around it when it was announced that Qatar were going to be the host nations of this year's World Cup. And let's be honest, I mean, there was a lot of ums and ahs, and are they equipped to do it? There was a lot of, obviously, scrutiny over the stadiums being built, the workers who lost their lives building the stadiums. But for me personally, and I have to do this, but if we take that bit aside for 1 minute and focus on just the football, it's been probably the best World Cup ever in our generation. It probably has. You think about the tournament, you think about the stadiums, you think about the atmospheres, you think about there's been no trouble that we've been made aware of. It's just been a brilliant World Cup, set up from front to back as one of the best. There was a lot of controversy, as I said. Nothing was said about Russia when they had the World Cup. The next one is in America, and we all know about America and their gun control and how they're killing innocent people, black people, white people over in America. We know the state of their country, and nothing will be said about that. So, I think we have to applaud and give flowers to the Qataris, to Qatar Football Federation for hosting a brilliant World Cup. And I'm pretty sure they're going to bid in for the Olympics and other sporting events over the next couple of years. They've got this massive infrastructure now in Qatar. They're set up to host a lot of things in the future, but I enjoyed it. Let's be honest as well, the timing of the games were perfect. 10 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Most days, you were complimented with 3 fixtures of football every single day. So we have to credit Qatar for the World Cup. They done well, in my opinion. Like I said, there was no trouble. I know a couple of people that went out there, and they all said that the setup was brilliant. The hospitality was set up, even just in a regular a seat rather than in the exec boxes. It was brilliant. So we have to credit them for that. There was a lot of noise around them, a lot of disapproval from a lot of people, a lot of federations. We had the whole, we can't wear the armband stuff, and all of that was, if you noticed, that was only the first week of those games. And as soon as that was put to bed, and everyone focused on the football, there was no talk of, wearing, one love armbands and all that stuff. It was just football. And that's how it should have been from the start to the end. And I'm glad that it was put to bed so early in the tournament. It didn't drag on. We didn't have any sort of issues in the final. There was no protest or nothing in the final. It was just a brilliant game of football that we got to witness, and we got to see 2 teams battle it out, battle from start to end. And unfortunately, when it comes to penalties, there has to be a loser. So credit to Argentina, credit to France. But let's talk about the lineups, because I was slightly surprised by the lineups when I noticed that Angel Di Maria was starting for Argentina. Tagliafico started at left back as well, which I thought was, again, another bit of a surprise. I thought Acuna would potentially be in that role there as well. In terms of France, I think they just set up exactly how they set up in pretty much most of their games. They had Rabiot, who was in midfield with Tchouaméni as well. Giroud, Griezmann, Dembele, Giroud up front as well. Theo Hernandez, Varane, and Upamecano as well as a centre back. So they had the same team that you would expect France to go with. But I thought Di Maria and Tagliafico playing at left back was risky for Argentina, especially when you look at Dembele, you look at Tchouaméni down that right side as well against Argentina. But it worked. It worked really well for Argentina at the start of the game. They took that game by the scruff of the neck, you know, and they knew that they needed to do well to start off with. They knew that they needed to take the game to France. France were happy, as we got to see against other games that they've played. They were happy to allow the other team to have possession and to try and hit the other team on a counter-attack, which is what they did against Croatia, which is what they did against England as well. You know, they allowed them to have the possession of the ball. That's their style of playing the football. But the first opportunity, I thought Di Maria on that left side was just causing so many problems to Jules Koundé and also Ousmane Dembele, and finally gave way. I mean, brilliant bit of trickery by Di Maria for the first goal, or for the penalty anyway. Gets it into the box. Ousmane Dembele finds himself on the wrong side of Di Maria. Slight push, whether it was soft. I mean, initially when I saw that, I thought, yeah, it's a soft penalty. But it's still a foul. It's still a foul. It doesn't matter whether it's in or outside the box, it's a foul. Unfortunately for France and Dembele, it was inside the box. It was a foul. It was a foul. I know people are saying it's soft. Di Maria was waiting for the touch, but it's just the experience. And I think that's why Di Maria was put in the team, because he's got that experience of playing in these big moments, these big finals. And he was able to just feel the push or the contacts by Dembele. He goes down. He gets a penalty. It's soft, but it's a pen. Brilliantly taken by Messi. First goal. You think, right, Argentina on the front foot here. Moments later, I think just under 10 minutes later, brilliant, probably one of the best goals we'll ever see in a World Cup final. Brilliant bit of play, link-up play. I think it was Messi. McAllister was involved as well. Brilliant through ball, counter-attacking football from Argentina. You see McAllister lay off the ball beautifully on a plate for Di Maria. He has no option but to score this goal. What a goal. You know, again, another player that's potentially playing his last World Cup, his last game for Argentina. He gets a brilliant goal. It's 2-0 to Argentina. You think now it's either going to be cricket score or Argentina are going to see the game out at 2-0. And for most of the game, they did that. I mean, credit to France, to Deschamps, because he obviously realised that there was nothing was happening for France. I don't think they had a shot on target in the first half, maybe, or if they did, it was late on into the first half. But he had to he had to change something tactically. He had to do something. And I think he brought off Olivier Giroud. He brings off Ousmane Dembele. Both, you know, I mean, Dembele had a bad 40 minutes of the game, however long he was on the pitch for. Giroud wasn't getting the service. So you can understand why you're taking Giroud off, because you need someone to be able to get the service, and maybe put Mbappe down the middle, gives them a bit more of an option going forward. But Dembele was just poor. I mean, you know, what a time to throw a stinker, you know, in a World Cup final. You know, you're playing against arguably the best player in the world right now, and Lionel Messi. It was just, and he had some really good games throughout the group stages and the knockout stages, but big stage, you've got to perform, and he just didn't do that. You know, Dembele had whether it was nerves, whether it was just, I don't know what it was, but it just didn't seem like the Dembele that we'd watched in the group stages and we'd watched in the knockout stages as well. He just didn't have the best of halves, and you can see that, you know, Deschamps was frustrated on the touchline. You know, he wasn't happy with what he was seeing. He takes both of them off. He brings on Kolo Muani and Thuram, both come on. Two good players that came on. I thought slightly, you know, changes the dynamic for France, and it allows them to do something different. And we did get to see that in the second half, because second half again, Argentina done well. You know, you see the game out. I think at one point, you know, France had their chances throughout the second half, but I think when it got to like the 60th minute, I just thought, yeah, this is game over. I think I messaged someone and said, this is game over. This is not, France are not getting into this game at all. They're having slight chances, but they're just the link up play. They're trying to get it to Mbappe. Mbappe is just trying to do what he can, you know, carry the team, but it just wasn't working for France. So you just think, well, Argentina 2-0 up. They've got 20 minutes to see this game out. You know, even if they have to sit back and Messi's playing centre back or whatever, they're going to see this game out. But of course, two subs came on. Anton Griezmann comes off. Theo Hernandez comes off. on comes Camavinga and Coman comes on. Changes the game again. Deschamps, you got to credit him because he took off 3, maybe 4 experienced players, 2 in the first half and 2 late into the second half, and brings on players that not necessarily you would want to see in the final. You'd start in the final. So he took a gamble and it worked. Mbappe gets a penalty. He scores the penalty. It's 2-1. You're thinking to yourself, okay, could it be? Could it actually be? And even at that point, 80 minutes gone, you're thinking to yourself, can they actually go on to win this? Within 60 seconds later, a beautiful ball. I think it was Marcus Thuram who passes the ball to Mbappe. Now Mbappe, to have the audacity, the cheek to try and score this goal from so far out. I mean, he had opportunity to take a shot where he was 100%, but he also has the opportunity to take a couple of touches at least, get closer to the goalkeeper and make the goalkeeper work for the goal. But he doesn't. He takes the shot on and he scores. And it's a brilliant goal. It's probably, again, this is why I said at the very start of this, it's probably one of the best World Cups we're ever going to watch in our generation, because some of the play, some of the goals, the way it ended, it was just one of the best. But that was one of the best goals ever, I think, in the World Cup final that I can remember in my years of watching World Cups. That's one of the best in the final. Brilliant from Mbappe. Then you go to think, are they actually going to do this? Are France actually going to cause an upset? And by that, I mean in terms of Lionel Messi not winning the World Cup. Are they actually going to do it? Can they do it? It was just crazy. It was crazy to watch. And then obviously, as time goes on, you think, are they going to get another one? It ends 2-2, full time. Here's where I started crying. I'm going to post my bet right now, somewhere on the screen. I'm going to show you the bet that I had. All I needed was one corner. Just one corner. One corner before full time, and I would have won a nice chunk of money, but I didn't. I got everything else right. I got Rabiot. I had, I think it was Fernandes to be booked as well. Mbappe to score anytime. 2 shots by Lionel Messi, and I think I had a couple of corners. I think I had 8 corners needed in the game. I got 7. I didn't win the bet, but I'm going to post it up here just so you can see how close I was. But going back to the game, extra time comes. Lionel Messi does what Lionel Messi does. He carries the team again. Extra time, it's 3-2. You're thinking to yourself, right, now Argentina are ahead again. Because it was a goal. I mean, there was talk about whether, I think it was Martinez, might have been offside, who had chances as well. Let's not beat away from that. Martinez had some good chances there. He's like Higuain. He's just poor in front of goal. You can see why Lukaku likes him at Inter Milan, because he's poor. So he makes Lukaku look amazing. But he has a couple of chances. But Messi makes it 3-2. It was a goal. It was across the line. It was a goal. And then you think to yourself, there's no way France are going to get another goal. There's no way. But the handball, I think it was Montiel who handballs it. Look, I mean, it's harsh again. I think the ref, a lot of people said the ref was waiting for Argentina to win that, but I think he was very fair on the night. I think he got a lot of things right. A couple of things he let go, but the majority of things he got right. And, you see Montiel, his arms up, it hits his elbow. It's a penalty. I mean, in the eyes of the law, football law, it's a penalty because it's hit a part of his arm. So it's hit a part of his arm and it's a penalty. So Mbappe, hat-trick, penalty, he scores it. What a way to end a World Cup final. You now know at this point there's going to be penalties. I think there was only 10 minutes left of the game. Neither team, for me, really, and this goes back to my football bet, but neither team wanted to win this game. I felt like both teams wanted to take it to penalties because no one really wanted to commit themselves going forward. They were both happy to just try and hold on to that ball until the extra time was over and try and get to penalties. And credit to them. But when you look then at the penalties and you think who's going to take the France penalties, you look in all the players you've taken off. You look at Griezmann, you look at Giroud, you look at even the likes of Hernandez, who potentially would have taken one. Dembele would have taken one. All these players that potentially would have taken a penalty, Deschamps has taken them off, and it worked. So I'm not criticizing him for that, but you've taken all your experienced penalty takers off the pitch. You're now expecting the likes of Coman, Tchouaméni, you're expecting those kind of players to take a shot, to take a penalty. So yeah, I mean, it works. And again, Martinez for Argentina on goal, brilliant. The shithousery was a bit OTT, I think. I think you do need those kind of players in your team. I think it was Kolo Muani's, or maybe even Tchouaméni's. Actually, it was Tchouaméni's penalty. He goes to hand Tchouaméni the ball and then he throws the ball away at the last minute. It's all mind games, and it works. It does work, and you've got to do that if you want to win the World Cup. You got to do whatever you can. I think he even gets booked during the penalties, I think, at some point. But yeah, you can't fault Argentina's penalties. Messi goes up first. Dybala goes next, Paredes, and then Montiel, all brilliant penalties. And you do have to question Lloris as well, because some of those penalties, I mean, I'm not saying that he should be saving them, but at least make an attempt, a bit more of an attempt to save them. There's maybe one or two I thought he can get a hand to that. He got a hand to one of them, but he should be saving some of them penalties. And I read a stat that he's not saved a penalty in a large amount of big moments, big games, big knockout tournaments. And it just, is it time for someone else now to take that reign as the number one goalkeeper for France? You do look at some of those players and you do think, are they good enough now? Benzema being a big miss for them. Obviously we heard rumours that Benzema was declared fit to play for England, the England game, and he got sent home. So you do have to wonder, was Benzema on that pitch? Was he able to take a penalty? Would it be a different story? But for me, Lloris he's done now. I think he's had enough tournaments. He's had enough opportunities to try and win something. He's obviously won World Cups before, but when it matters, like yesterday, you got to do better. You got to do better on those pens for me. But inexperience from some of the penalty takers, Tchouaméni, as I said, Coman, they never look confident taking those penalties. And I said when I was watching them yesterday, they're going to miss, because you can tell just from the look, from the run up, from the way that someone's walking towards that spot, the fact that Martinez was able to get into their head so early into the moment to take that penalty kick, tells you they're going to miss. So credit to Argentina. Brilliant game, brilliant way to end a World Cup that was very heavily criticised, that should not have been criticised in the first place, as we already said. But I think what a way to end it, what a way to show that, the Qataris and, the Qatar Football Federation can actually put on a brilliant World Cup. Like I said, zero trouble, shows you don't really need alcohol to enjoy the football, the best game in the world. So brilliant football, credit to Argentina. Can't wait for the next one, can't wait for the Euros. Of course, we've heard that Gareth Southgate is staying on as England manager for Euro 2024. We're going to do another video about that later on today, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. This has been T-Dot. Until next time, Style of Play Football. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about the World Cup final. Is Messi the greatest player of all time, or just this generation? Because some people are already having that debate now. Is he just the generational talent, the generational GOAT, or is he the best of all time? All time, Maradona, Ronaldo, I'm talking Brazilian, Pele. Is he up there with those greats now as well? He's won a lot more than some of them, so maybe he is. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. This has been Style of Play Football. Until next time, stay safe. Thank you very much for watching the video.